Good evening, viewers, wherever you might be watching around the world. We're coming to you from the Imperial Hotel here in Blackpool, England. This is the Supreme World 8-Ball Pool Championships. We're up to the second semi-final of the men's team event, which is going to be between Malta and France. That was Mark Shepherd presenting the teams after they'd been called into their So this is the second semi-final for the day. The first one, of course, was England and Ireland, where England came out on top 11-5. So these two teams are now playing for a spot in the final to play against England. Two referees today are George Bradbury and Matt Ward. We should see the two teams now lag for the break, and that'll determine who breaks first. And the first players will be on the left table. Will be Kevin Nasisa versus of Malta versus Carly Ververde. I think they'll be the two hardest names to pronounce for the day. And on the right table will be Rodolphe Gillet and Nicolas Rimbaud. So it's Kevin breaking on the left table for Malta. And Nicolas is going to be breaking for France on the right table. We're coming to you from the Imperial Hotel here in Blackpool, England. So yellow balls have been potted here on the right table, where France have broken. Rodolphe Gillet, sorry, Nicolas Rimbaud, France. We'll get orientated in a minute.
I think we've got ourselves, good evening Joe and good evening everyone, I think we've got ourselves a bit confused with the tables, so it's just been out to clarify. Kevin Merciaca for Malta against Charlie Verwade is on the right hand table as we look at it, right. Rodolphe Gillet and Nicolas Rimbaud on the left hand table. Sorry about the confusion, we've got lots going on here. We're providing split screen coverage, as you can see. Slight delay with this match starting due to a few logistical issues, but everyone very keen to get underway. Both teams have been waiting patiently in the arena for the last few minutes. So it's Charlie Verwade that we're looking at on the right hand table at the moment.
Yes, and I recognise Kevin in the background there for Malta.
30 seconds.
Should be a good match this. In a way, these two sort of feel slightly like the two underdogs. We saw England and Ireland in the last match, that some of the bigger names that we've seen more of recently, but actually it was Malta that were the seeded team coming through. England and Malta finished top of the group stage, so they went automatically into this semi-final. France had to come through a playoff to get here.
And in the round robin between these two teams, Malta defeated France 14-7, and Malta defeated Wales in the elimination final quite convincingly. Sorry, France defeated Wales, in the elimination final, quite convincingly 11-4. But you'd think that Malta should be favourites.
Yeah, Malta have been the form team. Very proud Q Sports heritage in Malta. Some great players from there over the years.
course, France, like Malta, a very passionate team, and they definitely play a lot of two-shot 8-ball pool in France as well. So a big cheerio to anybody watching France and Malta. I'm sure there's plenty of viewers. It's yours truly, Joe Fanto, and Mark Shepherd in the commentary box.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this match. We've seen some great pool already. We've just come into this off doing the England-Ireland semi-final. As we were saying earlier, England already waiting for the winner of this match. They'll be playing in tomorrow morning's showpiece final.
That was a miss by Carly on yellows, which is going to allow Kevin to come to the table for Malta. Kevin Masisa, I think it's pronounced.
Yeah, I think I might stick with Charlie and Kevin here. I'm not sure I'd offend more people the more detail I go into with this. Yeah, it was a slightly loose shot there. Kevin will be very happy to be welcomed back to the table, and actually the red's looking in pretty good position. He can play this red off the yellow that's over the middle pocket. Well, that's what he was trying to do at least.
They probably didn't need to go as assertive as that.
No, he didn't hit that very well. It was actually quite a big pocket, being able to play off the yellow. There's no real excuse for missing that. It was only the pace that kept it out. So France in play on both sides of the arena. Decent position for yellows on the left-hand table, although you can see the black's going to be a bit tricky when it comes to it.
So this is Carly for France on the right. On the yellows, he's got awkward yellow there behind the red. You're on the right-hand side of the table. So he's probably looking to see if he puts the yellow near the black into the left-hand bottom pocket, where his white's going to go. I guess he'd be looking to disturb the yellow, which is tied up there. It's a nice shot by Carly.
Yeah, that's a really good shot.
That's a beautiful result. It's exactly what we were talking about, but I didn't imagine it could come out that well.
No, I'm not sure if he even would have done it. Couldn't really judge it quite that precisely, but it's turned out well. I mean, that was clearly the kind of shot he was playing. Over on the left-hand side, Nicolau Rimbaud coming up just short with that yellow.
So he's taking his time on this shot, Carly. It's a nice putt as well. He's come back nicely for the black.
Yeah, he's taken these well so far.
And that's well played by Carly Wadded there from France. Put them 1-0 up against Malta.
France in a slightly more tricky position over the other side of the arena. A bit of a snooker at the moment. That's not done the job. In fact, it has done the job off an extra cushion.
And to come in on the right table is Troy Zammit and Cedric Le Quillet. The umpire on the right is George Bradbury, racking up the balls, having a good look to make sure that they're all touching.
So Cedric to break off.
It's a good break.
Yeah, red ball potted.
That's another frame for, that's a frame for Malta, so it all draws level. That was Rodolphe Jaleo defeating Nicolas Lombot of France. So the scores are all tied up at 1-1. Both teams on the board.
30 seconds.
Yeah, perhaps matches a bit less than a team match than a singles match, getting that first frame to settle itself, but nonetheless important to get off to a good start, clearly for both teams.
And the incoming players on the left table is Philip Zabit and Jean-Michel José. So we're watching Cedric of France on the right table.
Yeah, he potted a red off the break and elected to go with reds.
He's missed that pot into the middle. So now Troy has opportunity on the yellows. This is Troy Zamet.
Meanwhile, Philip Zamet breaks off on the left-hand table.
Troy Zamet looking at these yellows to see if that yellow goes between those two reds into this bottom right-hand pocket. Instead, he's going to take that yellow in the middle of the table up to the top left. Plays that nicely, very controlled, and keeps his white in line to put that yellow near the balk line into that same pocket in the top left. Coming to you from the Imperial Hotel here in Blackpool. These are the Supreme World 8 Ball Championships. Probably not too many viewers in the Southern Hemisphere at the moment because it's in the middle of the night, particularly in Australia.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a late night over this side of the world. I think Australians will be well up and about by the time we're finished with tonight's matches.
We've got the ladies team final starting at 10 o'clock. At the moment I believe they're playing the semi-finals.
Prior to that, we're aiming to bring you coverage of the wheelchair individual final and the senior individual final, which will be scheduled for 8 o'clock. This match was a little bit behind schedule getting started, so that might slip slightly, but that's the plan at the moment. Getting confirmation of the match that will be featuring later on, and so the wheelchair final at 8 o'clock. Dave Beaumont of England will be playing Aslam Abu Baker of India, and in the senior singles final, Videsh Sabharwal of India will be taking on James Feely of Scotland.
Let's move from the yellows to the table here on the right table, which is Troy Zamet. He's left that white nice and tight. Cedric Nicolet of France will be approaching to try and play his way out of this what appears to be a total snooker.
Yes, I think we'd probably give him the title there. It seems to be fairly tightly in this. It's a school of thought that it might be worth trying to leave the white pretty much where it is, because it wouldn't really leave a shot on if he did that. It looks right now like he's looking for an escape though.
And of course, if he escapes, he leaves a clean shot for his opponent.
Not too sure I'll be bothering to escape from this one, because if he was to miss the escape, he'll give 2 away, and even if he hits it, he's going to leave the white in the middle of the table.
He's with 2 shots away.
I mean, it's an odd rule, that one, where you don't actually have to escape. You can play the tactical foul. I'm not sure I agree with that rule, but given that is the rule, you might want to take advantage of that.
That's a good effort.
Yeah, it was a good effort. It was pretty important that went in there, because now you see where he's left himself. He's got another visit, but there's not really very much he can do with it.
It's quite a that nearest yellow that he's got. First, you've got to come off a ricochet off another ball and canter onto that yellow nearest the bottom left if he's got any chance of potting it. Just quite looks like he's looking for going up the table. Maybe play that yellow on the top cushion. Could try and double that yellow back to the left hand bottom pocket. Right, it's going to play through. Interesting to see how this. So none of the above. He's gone off the cushion. And you saw the resultant shot. It's promoted that yellow slightly towards the bottom right hand pocket.
Tactical frames seem to be going on both sides of the arena at the moment.
France at the table at the moment. They're on red balls.
30 seconds.
At the moment it's hard to tell. You would say it's got the advantage in this frame between Troy and Cedric.
I'll go with Troy now, given that he's the man coming to the table and the yellows suddenly are all actually in pretty open position. I agreed with you a moment ago, but that last shot didn't really turn out so well.
Yeah, and in fact that closest yellow probably goes between those two, between black and red, into the middle pocket.
Yeah, it'd be a real bonus actually if it did. Even if it doesn't, he's still got a couple of shots on, but that would be a useful one to get out of the way. He's quite close to it though, which may make it a little bit harder to control. The difficult ball may well be the yellow nearest the left centre pocket. It looks kind of open from this camera angle, but it's probably a little bit tighter than it looks.
It's a lovely shot. Played that off the red ball into the middle.
Yeah, and to his relief, that ball is just the ball near the baulk line has just bounced far enough so that yellow does pot, I think.
He's having a good look at from here.
The good thing for him as well is these balls join up pretty well, because if you pot the 2 at this end of the table, then go up for the one that's on the baulk line, you'll naturally be able to run through for the ball top right.
30 seconds.
So now he's got a good angle to get to the other end of the table now, to the baulk end.
Yeah, so he hasn't got a lot of space. He's not going to be able to get perfectly on the ball on the left-hand side of the table, I don't think. May have to leave himself a bit more angle. Shouldn't be a problem, but doesn't want to get too greedy with this.
Might play with a little bit of side, left-hand side. Just applying. So he's gone.
Well, he's tried to get on, I assume, the one on the left-hand side, which always seemed like the preferable one to play first, because it was easier to get from that one to the other one than vice versa. He's now left himself in a tricky spot though.
Didn't quite play hard enough.
He can still do this, but this is a more difficult positional shot. Oh, that's a really good shot though.
It's perfect. He's giving himself every chance if it goes past there.
He may have been playing that ball he's just played for. He may have been playing for that one anyway. I felt the previous shot he wasn't quite in perfect position to get on the way round we'd originally suggested. So this was a good second choice.
It's a nice shot.
Yeah, I think he sensibly didn't get greedy with that and try and do too much with the white. Just made sure he left a shot at the black.
Just queuing over the cushion of the table. Shouldn't be too much problem. And that's another one to Malta.
Yeah, good finish in the end from Troy Zammit.
Take a 2-1 lead. Troy Zammit defeated Cedric Willek. On the right table we've got Wayne Bonici versus Victorine Lebar of France. So on the right table we've got George Bradbury back to set up the balls.
So the frame on the left table's been taking a fair while. France looks to have the upper hand at the moment. Jean-Michel has got balled over 3 of the corner pockets, and his other ball is in a fairly useful spot. So even though Philip Zammit's the one at the table, his options are a bit limited at the moment.
It's Victor Labar for France about to break. On the right table we've got a nice aerial shot of the balls. Looks like he's aiming for the head ball. Slightly left in the middle. It's a lovely break. Lots of interaction, and the yellow's just missed going in. Ball count, unfortunately nothing down. It's disheartening when that happens. So you'd have to say advantage Malta in this frame on the right.
Good shot there by Jean-Michel. So the loose red now been potted. The only 3 reds remaining are the 3 that are hanging over the corner pocket, so no problem with any of those. Just needs to make up his mind where he puts the black. That shouldn't be too difficult either. It goes bottom left or to a choice of middle pockets. Just wants to make sure he gets the white out, doesn't want to get it stuck to any of these yellows.
And Wayne Bonici has come in and taken yellows for Malta. He's certainly got a very good spread, and be thinking he's got a chance to go game. Got a choice of either taking that inverse yellow to the top left, running. Yeah, that's the one he's taking. It's a nice pot. He's come out where he can certainly clean up those 2 yellows at the balk end of the table. This is Wayne Bonici of Malta, playing Victorine Lebar of France. Score stands at 2-1 Malta at the moment.
So, good tactical frame worked out by Jean-Michel Josse. Just this black separates him from levelling the scores. Okay, scoreboard 1 behind at the moment. It's actually 2-1 to Malta. So, with this black ball safely down for France, scores back at level again at 2 apiece.
Wayne Bonici still at the table for Malta. this right table, and looks like he's missed the pot on that yellow. So he's going to let France back in here. They're on the red balls. Yes, the score is 2-all. So, Wayne Bonici. Takes that red out of the middle pocket. And we start working on these reds near the balk line.
Meanwhile, Antoine Aquilina of Malta to get us underway in frame number 6 on the left-hand table. His opponent, Cedric Soubeville of France. Fairly straightforward break there, not too much power, but got the balls moving around enough. The red ball found its way to the pocket.
Just letting the viewers know that it's the score is 2-all and not 1-1 as it's shown. I'm sure we'll get it corrected soon.
So Antoine sticking with the red balls, unsurprisingly.
So at the moment it's Wayne Bonici at the table. Yellow balls. He's fouled there. So it's going to be 2 shots to Durin Labar. Some red balls. Work to do on those 4 reds at the balk line end of the table, and he doesn't have a clean shot on the 2 at the bottom end.
30 seconds.
Not quite sure where he'd be looking to play that red. Maybe he's going to play it for another ball. He's just going to play a very safe tactical shot. To me it would appear that he's though he did have 2 shots, so he's just set that up. I'll probably take that red to the bottom left hand pocket. He'll need to play it. I don't think it goes straight in. He'll need to play a cannon onto the red nearest that bottom left hand pocket. It's an attempted shot, unfortunately that didn't come off. So Malta's back in now.
It's like being a tighter match than the England-Ireland one. That in fact did get to 2-all at the beginning, but then after that England ran away from it and they always looked like being the dominant team. Here, from what we've seen so far, there's no obvious front runner. Sort of nip and tuck between both.
So on the right table, referee being asked to clean the white.
I do think whichever of these teams gets through to the final are going to have to up their game slightly against England. Neither of these 2 teams are quite so clinical as England were. I think they're going to find they don't get that many opportunities. If they're going to start missing balls, that's going to be a pretty long day for them against England.
Well, very short day.
A very short, yes. Well, yes. I mean, it's going to feel a long day, but yes, it's practically going to be a very short day.
So that's very impressive there by Wayne Bonici. He didn't play that very well at all to the middle pocket. Obviously, probably because of the way he was trying to work his white. Can quite often happen. So Victory Labar, there's opportunity here on reds. Take this red and try and navigate his way back to the walk, but in the meantime first of all he'll probably take this red, which is also down this end of the table, the bottom end. Play that red into the bottom left and then go back and take those 4 reds that are near the balk line.
On this side of the arena things have got a little bit scrappy. Both players have had chances. Malta got the bottom left hand corner pocket covered, which looks like it might be quite useful. It's the Frenchman Cedric Soubel at the table though. In fact, I say that the graphic is clearly wrong because it's the Frenchman who is potting the yellow ball, so it's he that is in the best position and has that pocket covered. So we've got that graphic corrected. Also just the scoreline I think we need to update. It's in fact 2 frames apiece, not 1 apiece as we're currently displaying.
It's a defensive shot being played by France. Drin has tried to get a snooker on yellows, but I don't believe he's been successful. Wayne Bonici of Malta should be able to play that yellow, play through the 2 reds. And I suspect he's got a pot into that middle pocket, middle left pocket. Probably even bottom left pocket. He's taken it. I'm not sure why he played so hard. It wasn't necessary. So France back at the table. Victor and Labar. As you mentioned, Mark, these 2 teams are going to have to lift their tempo and stand out of their play if they want any chance against England.
Yeah, it just feels a bit less clinical. I mean, you wouldn't say they're playing badly. Like, against most people they would probably win playing like this, but if you look around there's just occasional loose shots. That England team is just so clinical. They're all top individual standard. They're just the kind of people that clear up in one visit for fun. I think either of these teams are going to find they don't get enough opportunities to win unless they make those opportunities for themselves.
So in the background you can see a referee looking over this table, George Bradbury. So of course on the left table is Matt Ward.
Yeah, they've done a great job, the referees. There's so much work to be done this week. There's 8 tables behind this arena and then a load more tables down in the Washington suite at the other end of the hotel. The referees have been stretched very thin across all of those matches. We have roving referees for the earlier stages. It's only these final ones that have individual referees for each table. They're working very long days and have been for a lot of days in a row to get to this point of the tournament, so every credit to John Hope, the senior referee, and his team.
It's Victor and Labour at the moment for France at the table on the right. So he's looking to play cannon red onto red and put that red over the top right pocket into the top right hand pocket. Played that very nicely. Run through a little bit far, but he could play either of those 2 reds that will pot. So the preferred red would be the one on the balk line, if he can play it cleanly into the middle.
Meanwhile, black down for Cedric Soubel. Clause 1 up for France. They're now 3-2 ahead.
And the score's been corrected. It's a red ball potted for France. Only 2 to go. The black definitely goes in this bottom left hand pocket. So so long as one avoids snookering himself on that yellow ball. Nice little angle to come around. He's going to have a good look at how the black lies compared to that yellow ball. Try and make sure he doesn't snook himself. Nicely played. He's got a good clean shot on the black to pot into the bottom left-hand pocket. Which would give France an early handy lead in these early stages of the match. So Victor Labar defeats Wayne Bonici of Malta. So France took a 4-2 lead. Okay, so incoming players on the right table are Clayton Attard of Malta and Francois Marotel. France leading 4-2 in this semi-final match, coming to you from the Imperial Hotel here in Blackpool, England. The Supreme World 8-Ball Pool Championships.
The thing about this format, it makes a big difference when you're playing two matches at once. If the same team wins both of them, or wins on both tables, suddenly the scoreline can move a lot. It felt quite close a minute ago, and now suddenly you're looking at France 4-2 and you're thinking, well, they're miles ahead. That's a good break though, isn't it? Look how well these balls have spread out. The only thing he hasn't done is put one of them.
That's right, he's let France in. And he looks, you can see the frustration the way through his arms. Clayton Attard.
It's Kevin Mercier.
Right table, sorry, is Kevin. Yeah, of course, it looks like Kevin. Yeah, Kevin. Clayton's on the left table.
Yeah, they started just ahead.
Kevin Massisi against Cedric Quillec. I think it's pronounced Quillec.
I'll take your word. I'm just going to call him Cedric. Avoid any accidents. So both of these players lost their first frame, so let's be looking to get the first one on the board.
Nice putt by Cedric. And looks like he's got that yellow into the middle pocket as well.
Yeah, it looks to me in pretty good shape here. The yellows are all in a nice open position.
They're beautiful. They're nicely in line there in the open. As long as he can... or even if he just leaves the white where this yellow is, he's got a yellow into the middle to keep his break going. So he's got a cut on that yellow into the middle right pocket, or that straight yellow to the top right hand pocket.
Yeah, I think in an absolutely ideal world you take the long straight one, but the long straight one is missable, whereas the one to the middle isn't, so
that's right.
That may encourage him to go for the safe one.
It's a nice shot.
Yeah, that's worked pretty well. The only reason why the one to the middle had any danger was that you might knock the other one safe, but he's controlled that.
Looks like he's got to play a cannon here. The train, one yellow onto the other to pot into the top left-hand corner. He's having a good look at it.
Yeah, there's actually quite a lot of distance between these balls. They're never that easy when they're that far apart.
He's played that well, but just the yellow's gone to the cushion. Very potable though.
Yeah, luckily he's left himself a decent angle to get over to that cushion, otherwise that could have been tricky. So right now looking good value for the lead, France.
It's a nice shot. He's gone straight across for that yellow down the row. So he's nice and close, so he can play a little bit of bottom and get himself a little bit closer to the black. To pot in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, I think the percentage shot is not to try and move the white too far. He doesn't want to accidentally snooker himself. Just leaving a shot at the black is probably wiser than trying to get really close to it. Yeah, that's...
Oops.
Wow. So that's what he's done. Has he overdone it? That always looked the risk. The white was naturally going to be travelling towards the middle of the table. That's why I thought he might leave himself a bit further away from it.
Yeah, I think he changed his cueing slightly. Might put a bit of bottom side on the white, the way it went so quickly. So now he's going to play with a bit of swerve to try and pot the black. And he's played a brilliant shot. That's a lovely shot from Cedric Colette to defeat Kevin Massisi of Malta. So France take a 5-2 lead in these early stages in this match.
Yeah, suddenly having the scores been tied 2 apiece, France have come out firing since then, which has been a similar tale to the England-Ireland match. That's exactly what happened there. England and Ireland were tied at 2 apiece, and then England suddenly fired off a few, and then in no time at all the match had got away from the Irish.
And the incoming players now are Rodolphe Gilot of Malta and Jean-Michel Joseph. Sorry, José. There's no F on the end. Jean-Michel José.
So these two players both won their first matches, so a slightly different equation from the last two. Although it's very hard to read very much into it from one frame pool.
They seem to be in a tactical battle on that left table.
Yeah, Clayton Attard, of course, one of the most experienced of the Maltese team. He's a face we've seen around these championships a lot. Some of the other ones we've seen a bit less of. Been regular attendees at the tournament. Don't know how long they've been coming for, Joe, whether they were
great
there at the beginning,
Maltese.
but they've always been very loyal, haven't
They have. Their administration do a great job in Malta to get them here every year. And of course they run a wonderful European Championships over there in Malta.
Yes, it was a popular place to go. In England, Malta is always a popular holiday destination, so teams from the UK are always very happy to go over to those European.
Yeah, you should try and go over there one year, Mark. So it's Malta at the table on the right, which is Rodolphe Gilot. So Malta would want to keep in touch here. You don't want to give too many frames lead.
No, you don't. This is a pretty long match, best of 21. Plenty of time still, but don't want to end up too far behind.
You see sometimes where a team can win 2-3 frames in quick succession, and that can really, pardon the pun, but put you behind the 8 ball.
Yes, no, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
It's a big thing when you've come over. Obviously, these two teams haven't travelled quite as far as your Australian team, but it's a long way to come. You want to go away with some silverware, so it would mean a lot to either of these teams to reach the final. Nice to see these two teams, what we'd refer to as the home nations, England, Wales, Scotland and Ireland, have typically dominated this championships over the years, closely followed by the Australians. Good to see some other teams in recent years also putting up a good showing.
think it's amazing at the moment. France have done pretty well to be in this position. When you look at where they finished on the ladder in the round robin, they were 6th, and they've fought their way to into this position to play Malta, who finished 2nd. 2nd didn't have to play in the knockout stages, in the knockout final.
Yes, and actually, not only that, but they're giving them a run for their money at the moment.
That's right, yeah. They're 5-2 up. That's a good shot. So, on form, you'd expect that Malta's going to hit back here.
Yeah, so Clayton Attard at least pulling the one back for the Maltese, so France now ahead by 5 frames to 3.
So it's 5-3 to France.
And just looking at the league table of where all the teams finished reminds you of how far some people have come. Also see South Africa and Mauritius on that list, so a couple more teams that have flown a long way to be at this tournament.
Yeah, these championships are now recorded, are now supported very well by the African nations. So coming in on the left table is Troy Zamet versus Carly, the one that's the most difficult to pronounce.
That's Charlie V, we'll call him.
Vedverde.
Referee Matt Ward being asked to have another go at these. Disagreement whether there is in fact a gap between the front 2 balls or not. The player thinks there is, the referee thinks there isn't.
Yeah, I don't think you'd find any light on the side.
No.
You're looking on the top. Okay, so you've got France, Jean-Michel, José at the table. Doing a full 360 degrees of the table.
Yes, getting plenty of mileage around the table. Sometimes it's much a case of settling yourself as it is actually looking at something.
Yes. So let's have a good look at this yellow pot in the bottom left-hand corner. It's playing with normal through the middle of the white. To run through on the yellow into the middle right pocket.
In fact, he's ended up next to that red, has turned what would have been a pretty easy shot into one that's a little bit more difficult.
Increases the degree of difficulty.
It's amazing how not being able to see the whole white, just even if only psychological, sometimes you may even be able to get to the middle of it, but just the fact that red's there just can be a little bit off-putting sometimes.
It's a nice putt into the middle pocket. And it's in the clear to tidy up those 3 reds at the top end of the table. At the balk end. So of course this is Rodolphe Gilel. Sorry, it's Jean-Michel José of France. Rodolphe is looking on at the moment.
Yes, I think he's looking on and thinking he's pretty unlikely to be having another shot in this frame.
I guess the trick will be to get on the black. To leave the right angle to pot each last yellow and come back down the table.
Yeah, I think he's inevitably going to have quite a lot of angle as well. In fact, he's looking at whether he can take this one to the...
He's going to take this one to the middle, and that'll give him the angle to come back. It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea because it's the natural angle to come down the right hand side. The only thing he's now got to do is avoid that red near the middle pocket.
If he comes right hand side of the black, he's got quite a few options, depending on where he lands.
A confident shot is probably to play to the right of the red that's over the middle pocket, but it was going through your mind that you could end up behind it.
Could be awkward. Yes, he's come just right. Perfect. Kept himself straight in the middle.
That is perfect, but there was less margin for error coming down that side
Sure
of it,
was.
because if he didn't land on it in the middle, he wasn't going to have much of a shot at all.
Absolutely. But that's another frame for the French. They take a 6-3 lead in this semi-final here at the Supreme World 8 Ball World Championships men's team event. Jean-Michel José, that's Rudolph Yellow of Malta. The incoming player now is Philip Zamet for Malta versus Nicolas Rimbaud.
If you're just joining us, commentary from this one from me, Mark Shepherd, and Joe Fanto, president of the World 8 Ball Pool Federation, alongside me.
George Bradbury racking the balls. This team event has been happening since 1992. The World 8 Ball Pool Federation was started, and I believe the world first championships were in '93.
Yeah, I think the first one was in Manchester, wasn't it? And then we've been up in Blackpool ever since.
We've had, there was about 2 or 3 that were away from Blackpool. There was Chorley one year. This is before my time. I came along in Manchester '97. This is France to break on the right table. Doesn't seem to be anything down.
No, the ball's moving around a lot, but nothing gone in. So, Philip Zamet, first to the table.
And I guess he's trying to work out how to find a pot. Not that easy. He's locked in there. I would think that he can put that red into that top right hand pocket.
Yes, you would think if he can, the reds would probably be the better choice.
That's the one he takes. There it goes. And he's left himself very close to that red, close to that right cushion. And nothing's going with those two that are touching each other.
No, I think he's just going to have to bump this one over the corner pocket and bide his time. Well, amazingly, he's got it in. Didn't look like that went, and he certainly didn't want it to go. I mean, it's okay in the sense that he's got another ball to go at, but he's still got that problem one up that end, which he's going to have to deal with at some point.
Good look at this. It's possibly he's looking to play some sort of safety shot, but Francis has got that yellow. That'll go into that top left-hand pocket. That's another shot. He's played it back, and that's an excellent shot. He's got that covered. He's taking control of that top left-hand pocket.
Yeah, it was a good positive shot, that. A kind of two-way shot, because if it went in, he'd have still had a shot at a red, but if it stayed over, that was going to be good as well.
It's the old in or over formula.
Yeah, he'd got himself into a bit of a tricky position for a moment. That was a good recovery. So, French player coming to the table, but not really the most attractive position. A few balls at the pot in the middle, but a couple tied up top left and one tied up at the bottom as well. Well, make that 3 now.
Make that 3.
That really wasn't what he wanted to do. That was that was actually quite a useful loose ball for moving some of the other ones. The last thing he wanted was to make that even tighter.
I guess option now would be to run that yellow to the bottom right hand pocket, and maybe cover's probably better than pot.
Yeah, cover would be better than a pot if he was to play that. It's not that easy to do though. From the position he's in, it's quite easy to pot them if you just roll them slowly towards the pocket.
certainly couldn't hear me, but he certainly saw the need to put some prevention in place. The fact that he's got 3 balls tied up down that top left-hand corner.
Yeah, he played a sensible shot as well there. Actually covering the pocket was just too difficult from where he was, but covering the red was just slightly easier to judge.
So there's Phillips in, trying to pot there in that top right-hand pocket for Malta.
Yeah, that was actually a bad miss, because even though he wasn't going to go for a clearance in this visit, I think he'd have hoped to take the yellow that's below the cue ball now and cover the bottom right-hand corner pocket, whereas he's now not got that option.
It would be good to be able to play this red and take that yellow away from him and cover. Looks like we're doing the same on the other side.
Yeah, this is good work actually, because now he's got those 2 tied up, he can do something with the one top left. Philip's going to have to be a bit careful here, because although it's easy to look at this table and think, well, I've got this top left-hand corner pocket covered, I think he might find that that gets uncovered quite quickly if he doesn't put a bit of pressure on. Because France now has the option of playing some kind of deliberate foul whilst things are tied up. I think he's doing the right thing here. Try and get at least one of these balls out.
So now, I think now should be the time to start bringing those yellows out.
Well, yeah, his problem, of course, is he's still got that one tied up top left. Just asking for a timeout.
Timeout's called.
Player plays a shot on the other side of the arena. The tables aren't actually as close together as they look on this camera angle, but still, occasionally the other player gets in your way.
I'm sure he didn't try and pot that.
No, he's just trying to knock that red a bit safer next to the yellow.
Tight. This has turned into a little bit of cat and mouse, this frame, but both tables have kind of slowed down.
Yeah, Nicholas has got no real choice but to try and keep things tight at the moment. As long as the situation stays the same with that red over the top left-hand corner pocket, he just can't really afford to make the game too open. Philip, by contrast, it would suit him pretty well to get the reds into as open a position as possible. I think every visit he's either going to play a tight snooker like the one he's just played, or he's going to try and promote a red somewhere. While you've got control of a pocket like this, you just want to get as many of your balls in play as possible. Removes the possibility of your opponent playing a deliberate foul and potting your ball.
So at the table for Malta at the moment, this right table. And Nicholas Edimbot of France. France leading 6 frames to 3 in the semi-final of the men's team event.
So sticking with the formula of trying to keep the yellows tied up and promote reds where possible. Gesturing very vaguely. I think more of a language barrier. He's just trying to clarify that the furthest left yellow isn't touching the cushion.
That's interesting.
Some forms of pool require you to nominate the shot you're about to play. This is not one of them, so
no.
that vaguely gesturing in that direction wasn't an explanation of that shot, I don't think.
I assume it was a legal shot.
So the tactical foul played there by Philip for Malta.
This is Nicholas Edimbot of France.
So he's got the 2 visits here, but Not really two visitors that's particularly useful to him. He's certainly not going to be able to get all the balls into play with those two shots. He's going to have to, I think, continue the policy of tying stuff up where possible.
He's even looking whether it is possible to get down there. He played that yellow with angle to bring another yellow out with it. He played fairly conservatively. At least he's nudged, promoted that yellow that's close to the left cushion. I'll probably go for that now and try and get rid of it. This is Nicolas Rimbaud of France. Like he's taking a cut into the left middle pocket. No, he's not. He's taking a yellow to try and block a red from getting potable into the bottom left cushion.
Yeah, that's a pretty sensible shot. If you're Philip, you ideally want to try and get that red out. You can't really do it from here. Game's a bit more evenly in the balance. You still far away want to be reds, but there's now only one yellow that's comprehensively tied up in a position that it couldn't be released from readily, which is the one top left. The others all have some potential.
To the top pocket.
Well, he's got a perfect angle if he wants to break into the cluster, put the one into the right hand centre. You see where he's looking now. Drive the cue ball down. Yes, he's listening. Ideally he wants to hit the yellow that's to the right.
Yes.
That would be the thing that would promote everything.
Nudge him. He's got that, but he's
slightly caught the wrong side of that.
Not what he wanted at all.
It's not terrible because he can bump that red out. As long as he can get the red over to the right hand side of the table into some kind of possible position, it's not terrible. But actually the complexion of this frame has changed quite a lot now. It would only take one good shot for France to be back in this.
And just a reminder that France are leading 6 frames to 3 against Malta in the best of 21, which is a race to 11.
Yeah, it feels like quite a while since that score changed as well. We've had a couple of pretty tactical frames going on in the meantime. I'm not sure if I agree with this. He's asking to have the white ball cleaned. I think when the balls are as close together as that, the referee might almost be justified in saying no to it, because it changes the dynamic of the shot quite a lot if you don't get it millimetre perfect when you put it back. It's not really the kind of shot you generally need the white clean. It's ones where you're rolling the ball through slowly where you're likely to get a kick. Not suggesting that there's anything wrong. I'm sure he's noticed a chalk mark or something on the white, but it's a kind of odd moment generally to have it cleaned when they're that close together.
So he's obviously able to play into it and not touching.
I mean, that's an example of that shot is legitimate under the rules as they're written. That is what any snooker player would refer to as a push shot. The definition of a push shot is kind of different in pool. The ball has to be seen to the key, has to be seen to be in contact, a kind of double hit with the white. You can see quite clearly there the white went forward before the backspin took effect and then it came back. I'd actually be pretty happy with how that turned out, because the red could have ended up anywhere playing it like that, but it's ended up right in front of the other one.
He's taken the yellow into the middle and he's promoted yellow top right. But at the moment he's preventing that red being cannon onto the red over the top left hand pocket. But not in a good position.
No, this is real last throw of the dice stuff. The reds are pretty close to being
slide
played.
across and get off the cushion and finish up between red and yellow. No. going to do a deliberate foul because he should be able to. His opponent should be able to win with a deliberate foul here. If he puts yellow onto that red.
Yeah, I agree. Against a poor quality opponent, there are times you might consider playing that, but this is not that situation. That's a pretty good shot, though.
That's a very good shot. It's kind of balanced the balance of power now for this frame.
I think Philip may just play the deliberate foul straight black and get the black over the pocket. Oh, has he hit that hard enough though?
Ooh,
just would have been a horrible shot to have left that short.
So France on yellow balls. Both yellows are covered either by a red or a black. But consolation is he's got two shots.
If there was a version of events, he could play the deliberate foul top left on the basis that you could tie one red up and the black, well, that's the one nearest the pocket, doesn't directly pot.
He's giving away two shots.
Yeah, that's the shot he's playing.
Again, he's listening to you, Mark.
Yes, it's very rare this happens. I'm going to stop predicting shots now. I'm done for the night.
Some reds. Two shots on red. So he's got a chance.
This is very close to a double kiss if he tries to double this. He's double kissed it.
He brings it out cleanly. He should be able to put it a lot easier, but you can still plot it. You can attempt to put that in the. You've got the assurance that that yellow is covered by the black. Very soft. Didn't have the right line there at all.
The practice frame, you might have considered passing that and cannoning into the yellow and the black, but definitely not going to consider that here where you risk passing the black.
So Nicholas. Good luck for France. In the meantime, on that left table, another frame imminent for France, and France take a 7-3 lead. It was Kali defeating Troy Zammit. Incoming player on the left table will be Wayne Bonici of Malta versus Cedric Suberville of France.
So we're running very close to his time limit here, Nicholas. It's been looking at the shot for some time. Ultimately nothing you could really do by playing that containing shot.
Seven frames to 3, 4 frames to go. France on yellow balls.
There's not too much in it with this frame. And obviously you're in a better position if your ball's nearest the pocket, which means reds are in a theoretically better position, but we'd only take one shot for that to change around.
If you have a go at the double here, double that yellow back into the bottom right hand pocket.
Yeah, it's tight, isn't it? If the cue ball was a couple of inches lower, that would be a very accessible shot. I don't know if he can quite play it. I think the risk of a double kiss is too much, and he'd pot the black potentially if he double kissed it.
He's trying not to pot this.
Yeah, definitely.
And he succeeded.
He succeeded now, but I think next time he touches it, it's a So, does he want to play a positive shot here and try and cannon into that cluster? That seems like it would be. Well, it depends. If it's not a plant with the yellow and the black, that shot's probably
Shaping
alright.
up that way now.
Common sense says it's never really worth smashing into a ball that's near to the black.
Asking if it's touching.
I mean, the perfect shot would be to play on the left-hand side of this and just drop in behind the black, but the risk of going off is pretty high.
I'm asking to see if it was touching, I think. It's only one shot. It's a good lead.
Yeah, just going to have to flick this yellow very thin and knock it on and off the cushion.
Just feather it. It's a good shot. Of course, now we come off the back. Just touch the black. This is Wayne Bonici. And Bonici on the left hand. And that's the deal breaker.
Yeah, I wondered if he wanted to play that shot. There's a case for playing the deliberate foul and leaving his opponent to figure it out.
So Nicholas is now still a lot of work to do here. He's got to take that yellow down the end, make his way back into a position where he's got to try and finish, I think, on close to the bottom cushion, so that he can cut that yellow out.
Yeah,
Puddle with the second.
Yeah, I agree. I think the bottom cushion's the easiest spot to get it out.
It's nice, you've got plenty of bite on that screw back. It's a pretty good position to get that out. Try not to get any double kisses or anything like that. Not sure what he's working out there.
Yeah, would it have been me? I think I'd rather the cue ball was a few inches to the left of this. I think the way he played that, he was always going to end up close to where he did, and he judged the pace about as well as he could. But this isn't the easiest shot.
Okay.
Not bad, not perfect though.
A little pressure shot there. He wants that ball cleaned.
Yeah, he spotted something on the yellow. Now this time I don't blame him having the ball clean, particularly if he's considering cutting this into the middle pocket.
So this is Nicholas Rimbaud of France that's just asked for the ball to be cleaned. And it's Philip Zamet in Malta. Referee George Bradbury. Got a little gadget to make sure that that yellow goes back to exactly the same spot that it was.
A pressure shot this. If this yellow goes in, he wins the match, wins the frame. If he misses, he'll inevitably be leaving the black.
I guess it's a question of whether he likes cuts or the straight shots. We go down the end, top right. Oh, he's gone the cut, and it's a great shot. That's a lovely shot.
I think when you're a bit nervous, the cut probably just a bit less pressure on it.
I've always preferred the cut, but yeah, that's a lovely frame by Nicholas Rimbaud to defeat Philip Zamet, and France lead 8 frames to 3 in the semi-final of the men's team event.
Yeah,
So Malta have got their work cut out now.
all one-way traffic at the moment.
And it's Antoine Aquilina versus Francois Maratello. That's right table. Cedric at the table at the moment for France on the left. But, there's still new game time in that frame.
So, Francois Maritel to break us off in frame number 12.
This break is put of the red in the middle.
Of course, I spotted the white in the corner there.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, he just caught that slightly off centre. He screwed the white directly in. It wasn't cannoned by anything. Got to take responsibility for that one. Using a 9-ball style break cue. I see a few people do that. I'm not convinced that's the way forward. I find them a little bit clumsy playing when the cue ball's this small and the tip's that big. Somehow you don't have quite the same control.
Line into the middle. Of course, he's only got one shot because it was off the break.
Yes, didn't be critical, but that didn't seem to be the best positional shot. He ended up in no man's land here. I kind of feel with ball in hand, you ought to be getting a slightly better position than that. Well,
It's a nice cut.
that's a very good shot. Not sure quite why he left
Obviously
it, but
likes
it
his
was
cut
a
shots.
good shot.
Take that into the top right hand corner now, that yellow. Looking at where he wants to finish with the white. Coming across.
Whether he can get through to the yellow that's nearest the bottom right
Going to
corner.
take that yellow into the left middle. So he's looking to see where he needs to leave the white. That must be the spot. So yellow, this yellow to the bottom right hand corner. Doing that nicely. I think he was hoping to disturb that red and yellow to bring that yellow. So now that yellow is not potable.
Yes, it's the hallmarks of one of those clearances where he was always chasing it a bit. It never really felt like this was going to be an easy one to get all of them. At this level, you don't really want to start off on these clearances and just pop the easy ones, and that's kind of what he's ended up doing.
Too bad. Although there is red on into the middle right hand pocket.
Francois will be buoyed by what he's seen there. That really looked like a man that was going to clear up in one visit.
Interesting shot. A foul shot. Not sure if the white touched the right hand cushion. Looking to see if it's a foul somewhere. Good effort.
Yeah, not the best last shot by Francois. He wants to try and do a bit better with this one. Ball's in a pretty good spot now, actually. They're all in potable positions. Don't really ask for a much better opportunity.
Yeah, all the reds are potable now. Seems to be a little bit of a procession. Neither team seems to be playing exceptional pool. But France is plodding along, keeping the score on the board.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't underestimate the difficulty of the position they're in. This is the World Championship semi-final, playing in front of a lot of people. Hard to play perfectly. The trouble is their opponents in tomorrow's final, England, do play pretty close to perfectly.
Just probably run through here and take these yellows to the bottom left-hand pocket. So this is Francois Maratel of France playing Antoine Molina of Malta. That's what I'm looking to play out here. All these reds and the black in the bottom right hand pocket. It's getting closer to that grand final. Got himself a nice straight black to the bottom right hand pocket. Francois Maratel gives France the 9th frame to give them a 9-3 lead in this men's team semi-final.
You'd have to say, although France came into this match seeded below Malta, they've really looked the stronger team. You couldn't really argue with this 9-3 scoreline.
They've certainly, they might not be brilliant ball watching, but they're certainly the steadier team, and they deserve to be in front.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen very few, if any, one-visit clearances. There's been a lot of toing and froing, frames that anybody could have won, but I'd say France looked the more likely generally. Good chance for Malta here though, over on the left-hand side of the arena.
Looks like Wayne's got a good opportunity here to peg one back. Wayne Bonici here for Malta. He's got that black top pocket. Does that nicely. Trying to rev them up. Wayne Bonici of Malta pegs back a frame for Malta. He defeats Cedric Chouberville. So the score now 9-4 to France.
Clayton Attard then to break off in frame 14.
Nothing down.
It's a good break by the playing pot one.
On the left table to come in will be Kevin Sisi versus Nicolas Arimbot.
Well, that's one of the stranger misses you'll ever see. I mean, unless you can give them the benefit of the doubt and say he was trying to hold an unusual position. Have you ever seen a player miss an easier shot across the table than that?
Sometimes it might be to do with what you're trying to do with the white.
Yeah, I mean that's the only credit you could give there, because that was an extraordinary miss. It's an open table as well, so it's a pretty costly miss.
Clayton's taking no chances with the white. It's clean.
Yeah, I mean maybe he feels it was a kick. It's a sort of unusual shot to have a kick that would push it off because it was close to being straight. Maybe he feels it was a bad contact.
Yellow into the top left pocket. So he'll continue with that yellow into the top left pocket and make his way back, and as he makes that pot, the other yellows are in the open or very potable along the cushion.
He'd be rather pleased to be back at the table. After that break, he must have assumed there was every chance his opponent was going to clear up, or at least do some serious damage. Real relief to be straight back to the table. Over on the other side of the arena, Nicolas Arimbot breaking off.
yellows on the white to not relinquish the table back. It's a nice pot. And these yellows are certainly potable here.
Yeah, he's a very good player, Clayton Attard. He's been around a long time. Don't know if statistically he's been the most successful player this year, but he's definitely one of the best Maltese players. It's not exactly where you've chosen to leave the white, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Depends on which one he takes. He could probably take that yellow in the right middle. The fact that he's got that land. Not ideal. I think he was hoping to plant this yellow into the bottom right.
Yeah, I think it would have been easier to take the one bottom right first, just only in so much as you've got to come back for it now.
Played that nicely though. Can't possibly just run through.
Yeah, I mean it shouldn't be difficult, it's just a slightly more difficult path than if he could have removed it first. Just run through a bit, just try not to leave too much angle on it. It's pretty much perfect.
Leave himself in the middle. To the black. Prefers the black in the bottom left pocket, which is probably wise.
Yeah, it's been a good finish this from Clayton.
That's Clayton Attard. Malta can take some heart as they come back to 5-9 against France. Clayton Attard defeated Victorine Labar. Malta 5, France 9. Incoming player will be Rodolphe Gelel against Cédric Lequelec of France.
France in a good position on the other side of the arena, on the red balls, which all look pretty accessible. If we just make this plant along the bottom cushion and make sure he keeps position on the second ball, he should be well away here.
This match is best of 21, so they're playing for a race to 11. So France only has 2 more frames to win for place in the final against England. So this is Rodolphe Gelel breaking for Malta. Good break. Red ball potted in the top right hand pocket. The breaks have been good, it's just a question of the ones that maybe haven't been dry.
Yeah, it's whether anything's gone in or not. Which is a pretty costly detail of a break.
That's right.
Although very often it's not, you don't really do anything different, it's just sometimes you get lucky and the ball falls in, sometimes they just fly everywhere and stay on the table.
I think if somebody had the perfect formula for the break.
Yeah, we've never seen anybody that's got it absolutely perfect. There's been
That's
some
right.
good players over the years who've got a pretty consistent rate, but no one ever gets it all the time.
Yeah, I've seen some really high quality matches, with some of the top players that have gone on to win world titles that even they can't seem to command a pot every time.
There's also no great consistency in what's the winning formula for the break. Some people hit it really hard, some people take a bit of pace off and control it more. The thing it all has in common, you've got to get the power into the pack. The one thing you can't have is the white flying around the table.
Tight shot.
So a bit of a lifeline for Malta. Over on the left-hand side of the arena, Antoine Aquilina. No, I'm sorry. Kevin Mercieka at the table on yellow balls. Looks to be in a reasonably good position. Still a long way back for Malta. And 6 more frames, whereas their opponents only need 2. Well, she's got into that.
Pretty fierce screw back, but I think he's going for breaking those 2 balls.
Yeah, got into it too much. Managed to arc round the ball he was trying to hit. So, 2 balls standing between Kevin. 2 balls to get onto the black, standing between Kevin and pulling 1 more back. An interesting match. If they get it back to 9-6, which they should do, although it's not the best positional shot. He's now left himself quite a tricky angle to get down for the black. Going to try and leave the black at distance, or is he going to try and force it? Oh dear, 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 that's a very poor shot.
Yeah.
That's nowhere near where he wanted
I
it.
think he's very happy. I know the shot he was trying to play, but...
yeah, he needed to hit the left-hand side cushion. He got that all wrong.
He's trying to play into off the 3 cushions back over here to the black.
Yeah,
Got it all wrong.
The previous shot that did the damage. So, a lifeline for Nicholas. Surprised he played it at that. Sorry to interrupt, Joe. I'm surprised he played it at that pace, Nicholas. It felt like he could just roll that ball in. I mean, it's still absolutely fine because he's got the 2 shots, but didn't seem to need to take the risk of drawing the ball and it going safe. So it looks like the equation is about to be that France are 10-5 ahead, needing only 1 of the last 6 frames to win. Nicholas just got to hold himself together to put this extremely easy red, followed by a almost as easy black. So we've seen a little bit of a comeback from Malta. It looks like for a moment they might get themselves back in this match, but seems to have got away from them again. Black ball down. France move to within 1 of victory. They now lead Malta by 10 frames to 5.
And the incoming player is Troy Zammit of Malta and Jean-Michel José of France. It's a big turnaround from the round robin when these 2 teams met. Malta win 14-7.
Yeah, there's something particularly annoying about that, isn't it? When you lose, a team you've already well beaten earlier on in the tournament, you can't understand how it happens. But I mean, the truth is they're the two quality teams are fairly closely matched. Oh dear. What's he done here? Is he sneaking himself? No, it looks like he can get through. It's a nervous moment. I think he thought he'd sneaken himself. So, might be too little too late, but from Rudolf Joel's point of view, at least he's got his frame on the board. Malta pull one back. France now lead by 10 frames to 6.
So this is Troy Zammit on the left table playing Jean-Michel José.
Jean-Michel at the breaks.
On the right table will be Philip Zammit playing Francois Martel.
So, maximum of 5 frames remaining in this match. Malta will need to win all of them if they wish to advance to tomorrow morning's final. France just need to win one.
Hope all you viewers out there are enjoying this intriguing final between Malta and France, particularly in Malta and France. I'm sure there's plenty of viewers watching your team. It's our pleasure to bring it to you. The Wepf Pool Federation live stream. Of course, Von Armitage did a wonderful job in making sure this all happens.
Yes, a big shout out to the work that Yvonne and Stan Grant alongside her have done to make all of this possible. It's been a long week of pool, or more than a week of pool for everyone concerned. Players and production team alike. Just a reminder about our schedule for the rest of the evening. Scheduled to start at 8 o'clock, but it's going to be slightly delayed while this match finishes. We'll be bringing you 2 individual finals straight after this. So the wheelchair final between Dave Beaumont and Aslam Abu Baker, and the seniors final between Videsh Sabawal and James Feely. And then currently scheduled for 10 o'clock tonight, although again this will be subject to being delayed very slightly, is the ladies team final. Should be a closely fought affair as well, so an evening of quality pool ahead of us.
It's Philip Zammit to break. He's lost the white. Which gives Francois France the opportunity here, because all yellows appear to be potable. It's a mess. He's disappointed with himself there.
Yeah, I think there's something at this stage of the match. It's not so much that France are worried about losing, although that's certainly a possibility, but you kind of want to be the player that makes the winning clearance.
Yeah, it's certainly special if you got that in your memoir.
Ultimately that's a pretty trivial detail compared with getting through to the World Championship final, but everyone has personal pride in performance as well as the team performance.
So this is Philip Zammit of Malta. A few choices here. Take that yellow top right hand pocket. It's got that straight yellow to the bottom right hand pocket as well.
Yeah, this yellow top right is a trivial pot, but isn't the easiest position. He's played that pretty well, right?
Yeah. So take that in the middle now. He's got the right angle to sort of keep running to take this yellow close to the bottom cushion.
So they're not going away, Malta, nor would you expect them to. They've been a quality team all week. As you say, they beat France in the round-robin stages, so they know it's possible.
And they finished second overall in the round-robin stages, which is compared to France sixth.
Yeah, and I think having finished second, they'll have had pretty high expectations. They've had such a good week, these Maltese guys. It'd be a bit disappointing for them if it was to stop short of reaching a final.
Philip Zammit seems to be doing the job here to keep France in this match. Just black to the bottom left-hand corner. So Philip Zammit makes the score 7-10 against France in this semi-final match in the men's team event. The winner goes to the grand final to play England for the world title.
That final being played at 10:30 tomorrow morning. We'll be bringing you live coverage, of course. What should be a great final. We know one of the two teams, England, will be contesting yet another final, a record that spans back many years. Their opponent will be one of Malta and France. At the moment it's looking more likely to be France, but only 3 frames in it now. Always possible that the French could get nervous as they get towards the finishing line.
And to come in now is Wayne Bonici versus Carly Verdun of France.
I'm sure you're rooting for a French victory, Joe, just so you get the chance to practice that name again tomorrow in the final.
Yes, I think I'll be consulting Carly to find out how he likes it pronounced.
I'm not sure I'm even convinced it's Carly, but I'm taking your word on that one.
Well, they don't pronounce ch in French. The H kind of silences the C somewhat.
Well, I think the French team will be happy enough to be through to the final that they will
And
forgive us the way we've pronounced that.
They won't be too worried about the pronunciation. That ball's plotted again, big spread. So it's Wayne Bonici looking on. Left table seems to have come to a standstill.
Yeah, the Maltese player is at the table, just considering his options. His options look pretty good. He's got 4 reds down this end of the table in what resembles a simple practice position.
Just slight pressure of playing for your team and trying to keep them in this final.
Yes, and I have to say, I don't think I'd have played the shot quite like that. He's made this a bit harder than he needs to, but still in a pretty straightforward position.
When you know that the opposition's only got 1 frame to knock you out of the championship.
Yes, that's a definite added pressure, and particularly given that his specific opponent here only has 2 balls left, so a miss would be costly. Well, I have to say, he's taken a position where it looked like you couldn't fail to clear from, and at least made it a bit difficult. Should still be fine, but now got to move the cue ball further than he would ideally have wanted to.
I think he's still got to take that red into the middle. Could probably run through to bring the red into the bottom right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of ways you could play it, but all of them involve the white travelling a lot further than you'd ideally want it to.
So
He's played a good shot there.
that's a very good shot.
He's got himself out of jail in a big way there. Back in absolutely prime position now. Taking a moment to come around and look, but in truth he knows exactly where the white needs to be. Just roll this red in.
As you said, Malta's not going away. This will bring him to within 2 frames if he can negotiate these 2 balls.
I have no idea why he screwed back there. If he'd have rolled that in, he would have had this black even straighter.
So this is Troy Zammit for Malta. Troy Zammit makes it 8 frames to 10. Malta draw closer to France, who walk out of the blocks. Troy Zammit defeated Jean-Michel José.
Well, we've got ourselves a game here. 3 in a row from Malta.
And doubt must be probably be starting to play on the French minds. The scoreline of 8-3. 5 has been the biggest margin.
Yes, they were 8-3 up, as you say, at one stage. And 10-5 ahead. 10-5 was the point it looked like the match was all over, but then these 3 quick frames in a row from Malta, suddenly it's looking a little bit different.
And it's Antoine Aquilina versus Victorine Labarre. Antoine obviously from Malta and Victorine from France. And the referee that's racking up the balls on the left table is Matt Ward. And these championships are coming to you from the Imperial Hotel here in Blackpool, England. The Supreme World 8-Ball Pool Championships.
They're coming to you from a very sunny Blackpool, and that's the second year in a row I've been able to say that. After a number of pretty cold summers here, we've had 2 glorious ones recently.
It's an absolute perfect day today. I went out for about 15 minutes in between matches.
Yes, as did I, and I hadn't realised how warm it was actually outside. The nature of pool is you spend a lot of time in a darkened room, but actually it's a glorious day out on the seafront. The Imperial Hotel has a commanding position looking out over a beautiful sandy beach, although of course all the action's happening inside, so I don't think many of the players are taking advantage of the beach facilities. And credit to the hotel for the playing conditions. Last summer, which was a really, really hot summer, it really was a bit too hot inside, but actually out in the arena seems a perfectly sensible temperature, so good playing conditions for everyone.
So on this right table we've got Carly at the table for France. Be hoping he can do it for France and get them over the line.
Yes, I think a moment ago it was probably a race between the French players as to be the one that won the winning frame, whereas now suddenly got to be a moment of doubt creeping in as you see your opponents come back towards you.
It's a foul.
That's not a great shot, is it, leaving the ball short like that?
That's a foul. I was thinking maybe he's going to have a go. The fact that the yellows and the black are out, but of course, you know, you get tempted to.
Yeah, it could potentially
do
be
that
quite a bad
because-
foul as well, because with the 2 shots he could consider blasting all 3 of these reds out.
Yeah, just playing straight through that white and bringing all 3 out.
I mean, you are trusting to luck a bit. I'm not saying that that's a perfect shot to play, but you've got the luxury of the extra visit, so you see the positive way is the right one.
Lining up. It's exactly that, but he's lost the white.
Yeah, that's a bit
It's
unlucky.
unfortunate.
So, the first clear-cut chance. We've seen a few French players have a chance, but no one's really had, since they got to 10-5, no one's really had a perfect opportunity for the winning clearance.
This is going to be a good test. Going in for your country here to win that winning frame that's going to take you through to the grand final at a World Championship.
Pretty handy having ball in hand as well, because he's able to manufacture the angle he needs to knock out the yellow that's tied up.
Safe.
That.
Yeah, just overhit it. He didn't need to hit it that hard.
Although
the wise man says that he's sitting here in the commentary box.
yeah, I mean, it's, to be fair, it would have looked a pretty bad shot not to have knocked it out far enough, so I have some sympathy.
Yeah.
It's also not the worst mistake because he has still got a visit in hand, but it doesn't matter in the end. The French have won it. While we were looking at the right table, the action happened on the left table.
So it's going to be an England-France final tomorrow morning. Wonderful win to the French. Congratulations, they win at 11-8.
So Victor Labar, ultimately the man that potted the winning ball. Good comeback in the end from the Maltese. They were out of it in the middle part of the match, but pulled themselves together at the end.
And made a match of it, and they must have put a little bit of doubt into the French. But to their credit, France has done exceptionally well from 6th spot. They've won their way through the two knockout finals to finish up in the final, and they'll have a crack at England tomorrow. But I guess the final tomorrow is a different game, a different day. So we wish them well. We wish both teams well tomorrow in the final.
We certainly do. Thank you for your company with this one. We'll be back shortly with coverage of the wheelchair final and the senior singles final. Hope you can join us then.